Now that you have gained a good understanding of version control using Git and how to manage remote repositories using GitHub, the next step is to deploy your File Explorer app to the web. To do this, you are going to create a Git repository locally for your app and then deploy that repository to the web. This means that you will need to host your app on a remote server, which will serve your app to users around the world 24 hours a day. This is why you will need a cloud platform. Now, the favorite platform you can use for this purpose is Heroku. And once you host your app on the Heroku server, you'll be able to receive requests from users around the world and send them a response. Now, there are many reasons backing up the Heroku choice. First of all, Heroku supports Node.js. It also supports many other programming languages like Java, Python, etc. So you can deploy apps written in those languages as well. Also, Heroku comes with a free plan, which you can use to test your apps without having to provide your credit card details. This is really a good solution for someone learning Node.js or any other technology, as this gives you the chance to play with things without having to worry too early about the financial side. Furthermore, Heroku allows you to scale your app. This means that if you have a surge in the number of users in the future, or if you need more memory or processing needs of your growing app, then you can easily upgrade your Heroku plan by adding more resources to cope with the new demand. Now, to get started, you would need to head to Heroku's documentation, which is really well laid out. It can get you up and running really in no time. So I'm going to choose Node.js. But before we continue, you would need to create an account and log in. So I'm going to log in now. So if you log in after creating a new account, you'll get a web page like this one. And just a comment to log in, just make sure you go to heroku.com and log in from there. The links there might not work. All right, so now I'm going to refresh this page. So now I am logged in, and let's get started with Node.js. So let's click on I'm ready to start. So the first thing is to install the command line interface, the CLI. So this will help you manage your apps and also run them locally if you like. So you just need to choose the platform that you are using. So in my case, I'm going to use the macOS installer. And then you just need to keep clicking through the installation process and you'll get this installed on your computer. So I'm not going to continue this one because I've already installed this. It's pretty straightforward. So now once you get this installed, you just head to your terminal and then continue with the next steps. So if you try Heroku login, this will allow you to log into your Heroku account from the command line. So if you're already logged in the browser, then this will be pretty easy. Now you can press any button. So I'm going to click on login. It didn't ask for my credentials because I'm already logged in. Now I am logged into Heroku from the command line. And just a comment, you really need Git installed on your computer to be able to use Heroku. So we have installed Git earlier, so we are fine. Now you also need Node installed and npm installed as well. So you've got those already. And you need to make sure that your Node version is greater than 8. So we've got Node version 11. Let's check that. And our npm version is 6.41. And also we've got Git installed, and if we check the version, I've got version 2.19.2. Okay, so let's click on I have installed the Heroku CLI. Now the next step is to prepare the app. Now Heroku will suggest that you clone an existing project which they host in GitHub. In our case, we're not going to do that because we've already created an app locally and we'd like to deploy that app instead. So I'm going to click on I clone the app source code, and then we're going to deploy our own app. Now before deploying our app, let's go to our projects folder, which is inside desktop, node, then node projects, file explorer. So here I'm going to create a Git repository by using the command git init. And then I'm going to stage all files to be committed. So if I run git status, I can see all the files. And after that, I'm going to commit. And the message here is going to be initial commit, for example. Now to deploy the app, I'm going to run the command Heroku create. Now if you run the command like this, Heroku is going to generate a random name for your app, like that one. Otherwise, if you want to use your own name, you can just add the name there. So I'm going to call it My File Explorer. So let's try this. And by the way, once you run this command, there will be a new git remote Heroku, which is going to be created and associated with this local repository. So let's go ahead and run this command. Now you can see there the URL of your app. So if you try this URL, you should be able to access your app. But actually it's not going to work at the moment because something is still missing in our app. So that's the proc file. Now the proc file will tell Heroku what command you need to run in order to start the app. So if you remember, when we were doing things locally, we had to run node or nodemon followed by app.js in order to start our app. Now Heroku has got no way to guess that, so we need to provide that somehow to Heroku, and that's through a proc file. So you need to create this file in the root directory of your application. So let's open our project folder using brackets. So let's go back to the node folder and then open our folder using brackets. And here we go. Now we need to open or create this file. Make sure the name is exactly that with a capital P. Like that. And let's add this line and specify the command we need to run. In our case, we're going to run node app.js. So now let's go back to our projects folder and let's stage our files again. So if I try git status, I can see the new file, and then let's make a commit. And now let's push our changes to Heroku. So git push Heroku, and we push in the changes to the master branch. So this is going to take time depending on the size of your project. So I'm going to pause the video here and wait for this to upload. So Heroku declined our push, and that's mainly because we don't have a file called package.json. So we can see here that no default language could be detected for our app. So what we need to do, we need to create a package.json file. So you can use npm to do that by running the command npm init. It's going to ask you for some details, so I'm just going to click enter. So let's change the name of our package to something more URL friendly, so node or file explorer. And I'm going to leave everything as defaults. So now we've got a package.json file which has been created for us. And the details you see inside this file are the same ones you submitted after running npm init. So you can see that there is an update available for npm. So to update it, I'm going to run this command. Now it looks like I need to run it as sudo and input my password, as I'm not logged in as administrator at the moment. Right, now let's try to push to Heroku again. So let's stage our files and let's check git status. So we've got a new file and let's commit. And finally, let's push to Heroku. And I'm going to pause the video and wait for the whole project to be uploaded. So our push has been accepted this time thanks to the package.json file. So let's open our app using Heroku open. Now it looks like there is an error that's occurred in our app. So to do some debugging, you can use this command and it will show you exactly what's happened. And you can see here that the web process failed to bind to the ports. So first, let's check our code and make sure that we use the right value for the ports. So let's have a quick look at our port variable. So we set that to the ports property of process.env, and that's supposed to be actually in capital letters. And then otherwise, if we don't find that, we use 3000. So this is supposed to be the origin of our error. So let's try again. And before doing that, let's create a git ignore file where we're going to add our static folder so that we don't upload the folder again. So let's create this file dot git ignore, and let's add, so ignore the static folder, and the path of our folder is static. So let's git add and then git commit. All right, and now let's push to Heroku. So now it should take less time than earlier because we don't have to upload our static folder. And now let's open our app. And this time it does work. So let's try one of these folders. So you can see the content there. And basically last modified shows the same value because all these files basically they were pushed at the same time. Now let's try another folder and make sure that everything works. So if I go to images and try one of these images, then you can see that everything is still working. Let's go to videos. Here we go. We can search the video if we like. Congratulations, you have just deployed your Node.js app to Heroku. So now your app is live and anyone can access it from anywhere in the world. So if you go to your Heroku apps webpage and refresh it, you will see your new app right there. Again, you built the app using pure Node without having to use any external dependencies. So in the next modules, you're going to learn more about Node and master more exciting features which you can add to your projects.